I'm Jesse Mooney-Bullock, and I am a puppet maker and a puppeteer. And this is my studio, MoonBull Studio. It's in my home here in Cincinnati, Ohio. And this is where I make puppets and rehearse puppet shows and do my artwork. I like puppetry for many reasons, but I think what got me fascinated in it when I was in art school was making an art piece, a sculpture, and then bringing it to life and seeing it move around and seeing it take on an imagination of a new life and interacting with the art piece. So that was a new thing to me, and it was very exciting to see art that came to life. I made puppets when I was a kid with my sister, and we made some puppet shows about aliens, and we used shampoo bottles and napkins and painted faces on them, and we made some pretty fun little puppet shows with just recycled bottles and things. One of the favorite puppets I made was The Old Man, for production of The Old Man and the Sea. And it was all wooden, and it was carved, and I made him look very old. So there were deep crevices that I carved into the wood, and really weathered pieces of wood, and he looked old, and he actually sounded kind of creaky, and that puppet really embodied, I felt like, the character that the story was trying to tell, and so it was a long time ago that I made that, but it's still one of my favorites. Yes, I do. I love to carve wood and build things with wood. I've always liked to build things, and so I think wood is definitely my favorite material. The great thing about puppetry is it's not just sculpting or carving, it's also constructing and engineering. And so I'm using wood, but also I use metal sometimes, and whatever material works to function. It's not just about how the puppet looks, but also how it works. And so the materials play an important role. Wood is definitely my favorite, but I use a lot of cardboard and a lot of paper mache because they're quick and easy and cheap to use. I use those materials to really make prototypes and find out how a puppet might work before I make the real thing. Almost all the time, things change in the process of making a puppet, and a lot of times I will make a puppet 2 or 3 times before I feel like it's a finished puppet. Because you build a puppet and then you try it out, and then you see what's working and what's not. And so a lot of times I will make cardboard mock-ups, like I said, or I will build a puppet that's not fully finished, it's not painted, or it doesn't have a surface coating on it, and really figure out how it's working, make sure that I get it working well before I finish the how it looks. It is a really fun occupation for me as an artist to get to do so many different things and use so many different parts of my brain and things that I'm interested in. I get to sculpt and build and paint and perform and do music and the whole thing. So it's very fun. And the advice I would give to somebody who's interested in that is to find other people who are interested in it and start to do it with other people. When I started doing this in college, I did it with a group of friends, and we did puppet shows together. We made solo puppet shows, and then we performed them together. But it is a collaborative art form, because you're even if you're just doing a show yourself, you're still collaborating with the people who are watching your show and engaging with them that way. So find other people who are interested in it, or if you don't know anybody who's interested in it, then maybe convince your friends that it's a very fun thing to do. I didn't know that puppetry was a profession when I was young. and only really figured out that you could do it as a living when I started doing it. It's like, oh, you can get paid to do the art that you love. And so don't worry too much about what you think people can do, but just do what you want to do. What really inspires me about the Velveteen Rabbit is kind of the ending of this toy, this object, this stuffed animal coming to life and becoming a real rabbit. It's such a powerful, simple story. How that happens is kind of up to your imagination. But for me, as a puppeteer, that's what I really love about puppetry, is to see something that we know is a made object, is a physical thing without a life, take on a life on the stage and fill our imaginations with its personality and its characteristics and its emotions, and the ability of an object to take on our imagination and just be filled with that life is just, it's a remarkable, fascinating thing to me. And I think the Velveteen Rabbit is a little bit a story about that very phenomenon.